What if the sun disappeared? Not forever, not for a day, but for only 1 second. At first, it sounds harmless. 1 second is barely enough time to blink, but when the object disappearing is the sun, even 1 second becomes a cosmic event. The sun is not just a glowing ball in the sky. It is the reason Earth has light. It is the reason Earth has heat. It is the gravitational anchor holding our entire solar system together. So if it vanished, even briefly, the effects would be stranger than most people imagine. But here is the first shocking truth. If the sun disappeared right now, Earth would not know immediately. We would still see sunlight. The sky would still be bright. The day would continue as normal. For about 8 minutes. That is because sunlight does not reach Earth instantly. Light travels incredibly fast, about 300,000 kilometers per second. But the sun is so far away that even light takes around 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach us. So the sunlight touching your face right now is not from this exact moment. It is sunlight from more than 8 minutes ago. This means that if the sun vanished for 1 second, we would not see that missing second until 8 minutes later. For 8 minutes, everything would look normal. Then, for 1 strange second, the sun's light would disappear. Daylight would flicker. The sky would briefly lose its source of brightness. The world would experience something like a sudden cosmic blink. But would the entire Earth go dark? Not completely. If you were on the night side of Earth, you would not notice the sun directly because it is already below the horizon. But if you were on the day side, the effect could be terrifying. For 1 second, the sun would appear to switch off. Shadows would vanish, solar panels would stop receiving sunlight, the sky would dim, and then, just as suddenly, the sun would return. But light is only one part of the story. The sun also controls Earth through gravity. Earth orbits the sun because the sun's gravity constantly pulls on it. Without the sun's gravity, Earth would no longer follow its curved orbit. Instead, it would begin moving in a straight line through space. But here is the strange part. Gravity also does not update instantly across space. According to modern physics, changes in gravity travel at the speed of light. So if the sun disappeared, Earth would continue orbiting normally for about 8 minutes. Only after that delay would Earth feel the gravitational change. If the sun disappeared forever, Earth would leave its orbit and drift into deep space. But in our scenario, the sun disappears for only 1 second. So what would happen? Earth would feel 1 second of missing solar gravity, but only after the same 8-minute delay. During that single second, Earth's path would change by an incredibly tiny amount. Not enough to throw us into deep space. Not enough to destroy the planet. Not enough for anyone to feel with their body. But scientifically, Earth's orbit would be slightly disturbed. The effect would be real, but extremely small. Now let's talk about temperature. Would Earth freeze if the sun disappeared for 1 second? No. Earth would not instantly freeze. The oceans, atmosphere, land, and cities all store heat. 1 second without sunlight would not be enough to freeze the planet. In fact, the temperature change would be almost impossible for humans to notice. Earth is massive. Its atmosphere acts like a blanket. The oceans hold enormous amounts of heat, so a 1 second loss of sunlight would not turn Earth into ice. But it would be a powerful reminder of how dependent we are on the sun. Because if the sun disappeared for 1 hour, the effects would become serious. If it disappeared for 1 day, Earth would begin cooling quickly. If it disappeared for 1 week, temperatures would drop dangerously. If it disappeared forever, Earth would eventually become a frozen rogue planet, drifting through darkness. Most surface life would die. Photosynthesis would stop. Food chains would collapse. The oceans would begin freezing from the top down. Only life deep underground or near hydrothermal vents might survive for a long time. But thankfully, in this scenario, the sun returns after 1 second. So the result is not extinction. It is something much stranger. A delayed flash of darkness. A tiny disturbance in Earth's orbit. A 1 second interruption in the energy source that powers almost everything we know. But there is another question. Would we even understand what happened? If the sun disappeared for 1 second, most people might think it was an eclipse, a power failure, a strange atmospheric event, or maybe even a camera glitch. But scientists would notice. Astronomers would detect the missing sunlight. Solar observatories would record the interruption. Satellites would see the sudden drop in solar energy. And physicists would be left with one impossible question. How did the sun vanish and return? Because in reality, the sun cannot simply disappear for 1 second. It is a star with enormous mass, energy, plasma, magnetic fields, and nuclear fusion at its core. For the sun to vanish instantly, the laws of physics as we understand them would have to be broken, and that might be the most terrifying part. The danger would not be the 1 second of darkness. The danger would be knowing that something in the universe had the power to remove a star, even for a moment. So what would happen if the sun disappeared for 1 second? Earth would survive. We would not freeze. We would not fly away into space. But 8 minutes later, the day side of Earth would experience a 1-second cosmic blink, a brief silence from the star that keeps us alive. And for that 1 second, humanity would realize something important. The sun is not just part of the sky. It is the heartbeat of our world, and if that heartbeat ever stopped for longer than a second, Earth would never be the same again. Welcome back to Frontiers of Vision. Subscribe for more cinematic journeys into space, science, and the future.